The assault on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi began at 9:42 Libya time on the night of September 11, 2012. And within 15 minutes, General Carter Ham, the head of AFRICOM, was notified. Ham told the House Armed Services Subcommittee on Oversight and Investigations in June 2013, "My first call was to General Dempsey, General Dempsey's office, to say, hey, I am headed down the hall. I need to see him right away. I told him what I knew. We immediately walked upstairs to meet with Secretary Panetta. Then Defense Secretary Leon Panetta and General Martin Dempsey, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, were already scheduled to see President Obama in the Oval Office on different subjects. Congressman Buck McKeon, the Republican chairman of the Armed Services Committee, asked Ham, in your discussions with General Dempsey and Secretary Panetta, was there any mention of a demonstration or was all discussion about an attack? We knew, Ham testified, that a U.S. facility had been attacked and was under attack, and we knew at that point that we had two individuals, Ambassador Stevens and Mr. Smith, unaccounted for."
All right, folks, welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. That's from James Rosen on the Fox News channel and their exclusive report on the latest on Benghazi. And, of course, the report out today, a Senate panel, the Senate Intelligence Committee, they declassified a report, and basically they say that the attacks in Benghazi were preventable. Joining us now to talk about that and more is Bill Gertz, national security columnist for the Washington Times and senior editor at the Washington Free Beacon. Hello, Bill.
Hi, Steve. Good to be on the program.
Good to talk to you as always. All right, so what could we make of this Senate Intelligence Committee report that basically said these attacks were preventable?
Well, I think that this is a scathing report which criticizes the State Department and the intelligence community for not having the correct information and then not acting on that information. I think we need to put this report in context. Again, this is focusing on the intelligence. There were policy failures that went along with that, and this is a serious problem. The administration obviously has been trying to cover this up and hide these failures, but it's certainly the next step here is who's going to be held accountable for these failures, and I think that's really the key. It's not simply enough to just say that, hey, there were mistakes made, there were failures. There need to be steps taken to hold people accountable for those failures because, 4 Americans, including our ambassador, were killed in that attack.
Right, and this is a bipartisan report. We should point that out, and of course it blames the State Department as well as the intelligence community. It says the State Department should have increased its security posture more significantly in the Benghazi based on deteriorating security situation on the ground and the threat reporting on the prior attacks against Westerners in Benghazi. And of course we know that the ambassador himself wrote that request for more security, and Hillary claims she never saw the letter.
You know, Steve, even within the past several weeks, the administration has just identified Ansar al-Sharia, one of the groups involved in the attack, as an al-Qaeda affiliate. Even up to a week ago, the State Department spokeswoman was denying that this Ansar al-Sharia was an al-Qaeda affiliate. In other words, because it wasn't, quote, central al-Qaeda.
Right.
So this whole narrative is beginning to unravel. And again, the next step is we've got to get answers to why this happened and what was going on. And again, the context, it was a heated presidential election period, and the White House had put out a narrative that was that al-Qaeda was on the decline, and here was evidence that al-Qaeda was not on the decline, and in fact had conducted an attack on the biggest anniversary of the most significant terrorist attack on American soil that was ever carried out.
All right, Bill, let me ask you about a piece that you wrote at the that appeared at the Washington Free Beacon, and that is that we're in the middle of a hypersonic arms race with both Russia and China. Explain to everyone, including me, what exactly that means.
Yeah, this is a very significant story. The Chinese last week on January 9th carried out what was called a hypersonic glide vehicle test. This is cutting-edge military technology. That is, it's extremely fast hyperspeeds, that is Mach 5 to Mach 10, which is 3,000 to 6,000 miles per hour. The difference here is that this is a non-ballistic trajectory, and it means that it can defeat our missile defenses. The U.S. has been working on 3 prototypes. Russia's Deputy Prime Minister Rogozin has said the country that masters hypersonic technology will be a revolution in military affairs, and clearly the Russians, the Chinese, and the U.S. are all working on this. In fact, the Russians compared this new technology to the advent of nuclear weapons in the 1950s. It's that significant.
Yeah, and in light of Gates's book, you wonder if we should be nervous about the lack of enthusiasm by Obama when it comes to military issues. Are we all out in this or not?
Oh, well, that they're facing for defense will be able to sustain these development programs for our hypersonic vehicles.
Yeah, that's very, very frightening. All right, Bill, always a pleasure. We'll keep reading at the Washington Times, and, of course, show tomorrow, the Thursday edition, 3 to 6 p.m., Eastern Time, live, Newsmax TV and newsmaxtv.com, and on Roku and on your iPhone with the free Newsmax TV app, and on fine radio stations all over the country. Just make sure you tell your friends. This is, of course, the Steve Malzberg Show on Newsmax TV and radio. Thanks.